So, thank you everyone for joining, and let's start today's session. It will be in English because, uh, as the platform of Ancient Wisdom series is open for the international participants, international seekers as well. So, that's why the mode of communication will be in English. Okay. So, let's start with the discussion on the works of Adi Guru Shankaracharya itself, because this is just the beginning of our session on Shankari Bhashya. Bhashya means the commentary, okay, or the special insight into a text which everyone writes. So, when Adi Guru Shankaracharya came, he found that the Vedic wisdom, which was established uh, earlier on, that was totally gone into some other area. Okay. The other parts of the Vedas or Uttar Vedic parts, such as the parts of Tantra or the Buddhism, Jainism, all these religions were having a very dominant and widespread area throughout India and the world together. But the Vedic wisdom was lost somewhere. No one was able to find out the proper Vedic wisdom to any source or any channel at that time. And that's why he came. He was the incarnation of Shiva himself, who came to re-establish the Vedic wisdom again. And that's why he traveled throughout country. And the map of India which we have today is exactly the path of Adi Shankaracharya which he took. The parts which he didn't visited, you can just see that they used to be our part in the ancient times, but currently only the area which we have is the area which is covered by Adi Guru Shankaracharya himself. Okay, so when he traveled throughout the country in all the directions, he just met all the scholars of different sects, and he uh, debated with them about the Vedic teachings and about their views, and accordingly uh, you can say he convinced them that Vedic wisdom do have its existence, and the methods which are given in the Vedas are not like any stupid thing, or they are not uh, of any use. Sorry, they are not useless. They all are useful, and they are very important for our day-to-day living. And accordingly, in the era in which the other uh, you can say ideas were getting rooted in all the parts of this continent, he again established the Vedic wisdom in whole of the country. And that's why his contribution is remarkable throughout. So when you will read any of his works, you will realize that they are very much scientific and they are based on the true experience. Okay, you can actually argue on a lot of things, but when you will start reading any of his work, you cannot have any question at one reading. You will just keep on going. If you have read any of the works of Adi Guru Shankaracharya, either Vivek Chudamani or Atma Bodha or any of his books, you will just keep flipping the page and going like a novel which we read. We don't question why it is happening, what is happening, just go with the flow, because his teachings are like an experience altogether. Just listening to his work is like an experience. Just reading his works makes one into the samadhi, and that is the powerful knowledge of Adi Guru Shankaracharya, because everything which he has written is a true experience based findings which he is giving. So there are different views of looking into any text. So the Bhagavad Gita itself, different sects have given different kind of understanding on the same text itself. So so there are different philosophical schools in our countries, and let's see today. Let's explore them. That what are they all, and how uh, the Vedic wisdom which we are looking, the Shankari Bhashya, Adi Guru Shankaracharya's Bhashya, where does it stand in the philosophical pyramid? So this is the philosophical pyramid which is there in the Eastern philosophy, that is Vedic wisdom, and it starts with the Vaisheshika darshan. The Shad darshana comes first. So Vaisheshika is the part in which just observation about the nature and existence is there. What is there? Just observe. Okay. So the whole of this science which we have learned in at the elementary level, that is the laws of motion, force, momentum, all the things which are given in physics and chemistry from the macrocosm to microcosm are discussed in Vaisheshika because it is observational science. Observe and know what is there and what is not there. Okay. Then moving on, but this is just based on the observation. But after observing whether your observation is correct or not, okay, what you have seen is actually correct or not. What is the means of your knowing? How to critically analyze your observation, because you have to accept it as a theory or not. So that analytical part is discussed by Maharishi Gautam in Nyaya philosophy. So Vaisheshika is based on the observation of what is there and what is not there. But what you have observed, how to analyze it, whether it is correct or not, that is explained by Maharishi Gautam in Nyaya. And once you have understood the logic, intellect, how the mind functions, we move to another section, that is Mimamsa. Mimamsa is also analysis, but that is more critical analysis, and that is based on the outlook of Vedas only. So Mimamsa used to analyze anything with the Vedic view, and if anything is not going according to the Vedic view, they do not consider it as a correct finding. So Mimamsa, what is Mimamsa? We'll definitely have a different session on Mimamsa altogether, but Mimamsa is a more critical analysis to know that those things which cannot be explained by logic and those things which cannot be explained by a simple experimentation. For example, you can, if you want to see the effect of magnetism, you can just have an experiment and you can observe it. So the Vaisheshika looks like that. Now, certain things where logical analysis or mathematical analysis can explain the things, like mathematical induction, that things can be seen from Nyaya. But the things more which require more critical thing, like how the universe came into existence, what is the structure of our universe, how the universe has started, and what is the end of universe, these questions cannot be explained by doing any kind of experiment. We cannot start any universe again and observe that how it is going on, and we cannot understand just on the basis of logical findings. So what we have to do, there are certain set of rules which have been found till now, and certain mathematical equations have been established which are according to the structure of universe. So if any model you are explaining about universe, like the string theory, string theory, or the unified field theory, if you are looking, so you just uh, fit everything into that mathematical equation. If that equation is satisfied, you say that okay, your model is correct. If that is not satisfied, or to certain extent it is having an exception, so you can deny it. So that is the level of mimamsa, those things which cannot be explained by logic and cannot be explained by experimentation, how to analyze them, that is the view of mimamsa. So it is also segregated into two parts, that is the Purva and Uttar Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa takes care of the material things, whereas the Uttar Mimamsa discusses about the spiritual things. And then the Sankhya and Yoga. So till Mimamsa, all the material things, or that everything in the universe and everything which is inside, everything is discussed. They are not segregated. But after Mimamsa onwards, only spiritual dimension starts. That what is self and what is not self. Okay, so till Sankhya, Kapil Muni reached this level that everything is just Purusha and Prakriti. Okay, so before Sankhya, the view of the spiritual dimension was that the Atman is there, that is, self is there with eight kind of dravyas. Or you can say there are different layers or levels of existence: body, mind, okay, body, breath, mind, uh, this intelligence, okay, memory, ego, and self. The Atman exists with other eight dravyas, and Atman exists with the seven different layers of consciousness. But from the Sankhya onwards, the dimension just changes, that the Atman is existing like Purusha and Prakriti. The Purusha is there, which is the true self, and everything else is Prakriti. Okay, so the both of the things are existing, and the Purusha is the seer who is just witnessing everything, and everything else is just the scenery. Else is seen. So this differentiation was given by Kapil Muni in Sankhya, and after that, how to have experience of Purusha. So Kapil Muni just reached at the described at the level of differentiation, that what is true, what is not true, and how to differentiating everything. He reached that the Purusha and Prakriti are the only two things which exist. But now, how to establish in this Purusha, how to establish in the self, that was given by Maharishi Patanjali in the Yoga. That the ways to establish the mind, ways to establish the consciousness in the self from the Prakriti or the broken fragments of your mind, how they can be united again to the Purusha. So that was given by Maharishi Patanjali in the Yoga. So till Yoga, this six darshanas are there that are just a step ladder, that are following a step ladder pattern, that how the observation of inner and outer world started, and from outer to inner world, from Mimamsa onwards only we talk about inner world, and till we reach the Sankhya we have segregated the Purusha and Prakriti, and then in the Yoga actually the union or how to establish into this Purusha is discussed. It is more practical domain. After that, the higher knowledge which have been discussed by different acharyas is uh, following this kind of pyramid. So the Madhavacharya gave Dvaita philosophy, that Atman and Brahman. Brahman means the God, sole reality of this universe. So the Brahman and Atman are different. God and the self are different. They don't have any kind of uh, unity between them. Okay. After Madhavacharya, different acharyas came and they gave these kind of philosophies: Bheda, Bheda, Achintya, Bheda, Bheda, Nimbarkacharya gave, and Ashuddha Dvaita. So all these philosophies discuss that it appears that a difference is there, but actually there is no difference. That's why they have said Bheda, Bheda. It is Abhed also, it is Bhed also. They were saying that we think that differentiation is there, but differentiation at the same time is not there. They were not knowing it properly. After that, Vishisht Advait comes, which was given by uh, Vishisht Advait was uh, just one second. Advait was given by Adi Guru Shankaracharya, and Vishishta Advaita philosophy was discussed by this is important. We should know the different acharyas. I am sorry, this is a very important thing. I don't know how I forgot the name. Yes, Ramanujanacharya. Yes, Vishishta Advaita was given by Acharya Ramanujan, and he discussed that it is a special view. Okay. So according to Acharya Ramanujan, the difference was there, but he said that with the special kind of drishti. Acharya Ramanujan gave this theory because there was so much chaos before that. Okay, Dvaita philosophy, people were actually having a debate that, okay, there is the God and the self, Brahman and Atman are totally different. There is no there is no union, or there is no unity between them. They are entirely different entities. Whereas the Advaita philosophy given by Adiguru Shankaracharya describes that they are all same, only Brahman is there, nothing is there. So, Vishishta Advaita given by Acharya Ramanujan, he described that it is not so that both of them are entirely wrong. Okay, so he gave a special logic that if you have this individual ego left, this Atman, still, if it is not merged, the layers are present, then it will experience the Dvaita. And the Atman, if no ego is there, okay, the ego is dissolved completely, then it will experience the total bliss, the total unity with the Brahman, Advaita. So both of them are correct, and they both have a different level of existence depending on the quality of consciousness. Okay, depending on the veil which is there on the Atman, it depends whether the Dvaita is experienced or Advaita is experienced. And finally, Advaita, which is given by Acharya Shankar, that is the known as the Chudamani of all the philosophies, that is crown of all the philosophies, and that thing is the ultimate experience that only Brahman exists and nothing else. Even whatever is existing, everything is Brahman. Okay, it is just your, it is just like a drama, or it is just like, you can say it is just a different setup which is there. Duality is just appearing, but it is not. But it is not true. Everything which is appearing to be dual is non-dual. So that's why this is the highest experience, that everything is Brahman and nothing else. And why we discussed everything? Because this is what is highlighted every time in the Shankari Bhashya, that the Bhagavad Gita is looked with the Advait philosophy. Bhagavad Gita is actually reflecting Advait philosophy, that how the Atman and Brahman are same, and uh, how we will look every time that this Brahman is the only thing which exists and nothing else. Okay. So, chapter 1, let's now begin our discussion on the Shankari Bhashya. Till now, we have discussed about uh, the different philosophies which are there in the Eastern philosophy. Okay, now, coming on to the first chapter, that is Arjun Vishad Yoga. So, actually, the Shankari Bhashya, that is commentary on the Bhagavad Gita written by Adiguru Shankaracharya himself, is a continuous running commentary. It is not like some texts are there and then he has described chapter 1 separately, chapter 2 separately. He has given a continuous running commentary. So when we talk about chapter, it doesn't mean that only first chapter is there. Some parts of second chapter will also be there in this. So first chapter, that is Arjuna Vishadi Yoga. Okay. So the lamentation of Arjun. So in this first chapter, the Arjun suddenly saw his own blood relatives in front of him, Pitama Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, everyone, and he was actually shivering, and he experienced a lot of anxiety just in by seeing all of them, that how can I kill them, and he was in an emotional mess at that time, and he just wanted to leave this world. Okay, so this is the part of Gita which is given in first chapter of Gita, and that is described by Adiguru Shankaracharya. So the main highlights which are given by Adi Shankara are these three in the chapter 1. First is the Shoka and Moha, that is the seed of samsara. Then He has described the Nishtha versus Niyama, that once the seed of samsara is experienced, okay, the Shoka and Moha is known by the person, then the Nishtha and Niyama, he has talked about them. And the third part, which is described in this chapter, is Dvandvas, the doubts which Arjuna had. Okay, so we'll discuss these three important aspects of the first chapter of Shankari Bhashya. Okay, first part itself. So, so Adi Guru Shankaracharya writes that the seed of samsara, the world which we are seeing in front of us, is actually having shoka and moha hidden in it. We all have a natural tendency to run behind the pleasures of five senses, and out apart from them, the four other pleasures which we level at the level of mind and intellect. That is the pleasure of money, the pleasure of position, the pleasure of uh, respect and honor which one gets, and the pleasure of uh, progeny and all the human attachments which we have with different people. Okay, suppose a father is not able to do something or achieve anything, but when his son achieves anything, he has this pleasure that, oh, my son has done it. So this is known as the pleasure of attachment with the individuals. So there are nine. There are in total nine uh, types of pleasures. Okay, the five pleasures are related with the five sense organs which we experience. Apart from them, the pleasure which is given by some uh, pleasure which is given by money. Money here means not just money, all kind of assets which one gains in his life. Okay, so money gives pleasure definitely. When you have this salary creditation every month, then it gives a different dopamine rush. Okay, money gives pleasure. Second, this whole uh, this position. Okay, when you have a certain position in any organization or in any government setup, then definitely you have the pleasure that, oh, I am having this position. The power of the pleasure which is of the power which you are holding. Okay, the power gives pleasure, and that's why the people who are giving exams for different government organizations, because they want to experience this power. Okay. So the pleasure which is given by power, the pleasure which is given by honor, people use who have done a lot of good things, they are honored by the society, the name and fame which gives us pleasure. Okay, people used to just uh, sacrifice anything for saving their name, that they should not get defamed anywhere. So just for preventing their defamation, they can give and go to any cost. The political parties, they have this pleasure of uh, name and fame, okay, which they have. Uh, the film stars, they have this pleasure of name and fame. And the fourth pleasure is the pleasure of the attached ones, okay, from whom we are attached. So all these are just they are not the source of pleasure. They are not the source of enjoyment. They are all just ways by which we enjoy. So we think that they are all means of our enjoyment, but the actual enjoyment is not hidden there. So there is a source of enjoyment which is there in all of us, but we have never experienced that. Okay, we just want to enjoy with the help of these nine kinds of pleasure. And that's what is highlighted in the first part, that this is the seed of samsara. The attachment with these nine kinds of pleasure is known as moha. Okay. So when the moha is there, it is followed by shoka. The shoka and moha are a vicious cycle which the being experienced in the lifetime. And same thing Arjun experienced, that he was having attachment with his near and dear ones, and when he had to stand against them and fight against them, he suddenly had the shoka that I cannot do it. He just dropped his bow and he just requested, I want to take the sannyas. I cannot fight right now. I cannot do this. So this shoka comes when the moha is there. That's what is highlighted by Adi Shankaracharya. So find out the source of your attachment. You might be attached with name and fame, whatever you have, small or big, doesn't matter. Okay, you might be attached to the money which you have, assets which you have, attached with the people which are around you, and attached with the power which, or whatever position you have. Okay, so you all have this sort of attachment. This attachment with the pleasure which one experiences through these sources gives rise to the shoka. Okay, the ultimate result of this attachment is because the things from which you are attached is not permanent, they are temporary. They will change someday, and when they will change, it will disturb you. When you will see them disturbing, that will definitely disturb you. And this disturbance is what is known as the shoka. So he describes that the samsara is having this kind of nature only, and we, the human beings, are the only one who have this kind of cycle. Animals doesn't experience this cycle. They only have the moha and they have shoka for some time. Even that's why the cannibalism is there in certain animals. They can kill their own young ones and eat if they are hungry, because uh, they don't have that kind of moha or attachment which the humans used to have with anything. And that is a blessing in disguise, because we are prone to get shoka. The animals are not prone to get shoka. For some time they suffer and they just go. They don't even realize they are suffering. But we are the ones who can realize that we are suffering and no one else. Okay. So because we can realize that we are suffering, so this is a blessing which we have, and that's what he is talking about this in first part, that Arjun had this suffering and then he lamented that he want to run away. Whenever you have suffering, you just lose the connection of the self, and that's why the chaos and disturbance which is observed at the emotional levels and emotional mess, we want to run away. Okay, we just want to go away and have some silence. Okay, this is a natural tendency. Whosoever has experienced any kind of setback, some or the other setback, setback in examination, setback in relationship, or setback at any other level, the person wants to have a silence, or he wants to run away from some other part where he knows he don't know anyone, or he is just not experiencing anything there. Okay, so this is known as nishtha. So when the shoka is experienced, the nishtha arises that I want to be free from it. I want to be uh, I want to get rid of this all mess which is there. And that is what highlighted here, that what is the correct pathway to enlightenment. So he has written that the Arjun, when he had this nishtha, sannyas nishtha, that I will just renounce everything and go to Himalayas, I won't disturb anyone, I just want to be in silence. So, was this the correct pathway to enlightenment or not? So usually the Jain or the Bauddha cult argue that when the Arjun had this kind of vairagya developing at that time, why Krishna made him to fight this war? He could have just made him free, that, oh, you have vairagya rising, you just go and take sannyasa. Why you are fighting? Why you are coming to violence? Because the nishtha itself is not the correct pathway to enlightenment. That is highlighted here very correct. That is the most important part of it. With nishtha alone, you cannot get enlightenment. The Arjun, just because of this certain disturbance, he wanted to go away. If he would have ran away, he wouldn't got enlightenment or the true knowledge of self. He thought that he will get, but no one gets with the nishtha for enlightenment. And that's what is written clearly, that Shraut Smart Adi Karma Kaivalyam Praptir Bhavishyati. That no one can attain the enlightenment with this nishtha which occurs after setback, that I want to be free. If one have to attain the enlightenment, then the niyama has to be followed. So when the nishtha arises, the first thing which one should do is seeking a true guru, seeking a true master. And after seeking the master, he should surrender and just follow the path which is given by the master, because the enlightenment is not just a phenomenon which occurs, it is the merging of this all layers of consciousness and realization of Atman. It is merging of Atman into the Brahman. And that is a rhythmic process, because everything is running into the rhythm. And only the enlightened masters have the key to this rhythm. They know how to tap this rhythm and make the person free from his state of the small being to go into the state of higher being. And this is what he has highlighted, that by following the path of Guru, which is based on the Vedic path, every Guru, may it be Buddha only or may it be Lord Mahavir, the pathway which they have described are actually Vedic pathway only. In some or the other, with the true enlightened masters, whenever they describe anything, that is in accordance with the Vedas only. And that's why he has highlighted that once the nishtha arises, that you want to get rid of this suffering, you want to get rid of this emotional mess, you want to get rid of everything, then the person shall seek the Guru. And after seeking the Guru, he should just follow the path of Guru. And that's why Krishna didn't made him go and take the sannyasa. You know, the cousin brother of Krishna, you know that story. So, Nemi Nath ji, who is also known as Arishta Nemi. Okay. So, Arishta Nemi is a very big saint in the Jainism. Okay. He is a Tirthankar in Jainism. He is worshipped by all the Jains. And he was cousin brother of Lord Krishna. So when he was going for a wedding, and when he saw that for his wedding, in the feast of his wedding, the people were actually cutting the goats and they were preparing some meat for the wedding party. He was really disturbed with that, and he took sannyas at that time. That, oh Krishna, after this suffering, I am really suffering by seeing this violence. I cannot have this marriage anymore. I want to take sannyas. I want to meditate and get rid of all sufferings. Krishna made him free at that time itself. That Arishnim, you go and may you get enlightened. That's it. He explained him the way, and Arishnemi went and followed his own path, and he attained salvation. But why Krishna stopped Arjuna? Because Arjun's running away will not give him the enlightenment. Because Arishtanemi was following the niyama, Arjun was not following the niyama, he had the nishtha, and nishtha alone cannot make you free. If tomorrow you just have this nishtha, okay, from today I will follow Karma Yoga, you all know the sutra of Karma Yoga, that just focus on the action and just forget about the result, just keep doing and do not be bothered by the result. But why it is not happening in your life? You all know it. If it would be very easy that just by knowing it you can do it, everyone could have attained salvation with the Karma Yoga. But why it doesn't happen? Because the Nishtha alone is not sufficient. That is highlighted by Acharya Shankar. Niyama is important. The path which is given by Guru, and that path has a rhythm in it. That is the rhythm of the Shiva or the rhythm of the Shakti, which makes one into the enlightenment. And without that rhythm, one can never reach the final goal of his life. And that's why he has highlighted that Arjun was taught by Krishna and given, and Krishna took him into that rhythm only in the upcoming chapters. He made him into the rhythm of Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and finally he attained that realization that, oh my God, where I was stuck. I was thinking about rubbish things. Okay, I was holding on to all the wrong things which were not of any use. The reality is in front of me. And that's why Krishna stopped Arjun, that you just uh, go and fight this war, because this is the way, because right now this war is the rhythm, okay, from which you can attain the salvation. Then he talks about the dvandvas, so doubts which Arjun had. So Arjun had the doubt about violence, that uh, you are God yourself. In all the Vedic text, it is described in ahimsa is the highest dharma, and that's what even the Jain acharyas also argue, that uh, ahimsa parmo dharma. And Arjuna, when he had this idea to follow ahimsa, why Krishna made him go and do violence? Because the ahimsa which is taught has a different meaning altogether. Ahimsa doesn't mean that one will not fight when it is required to fight. For your own self, you can have ahimsa. That it's okay, I won't harm anyone. But for when there is any condition, when one has to fight for everyone, then the ahimsa principle is not applicable there. When the army soldiers are fighting at the borders, they are not fighting for themselves. They are not fighting because they enjoy the fighting. They are fighting for the protection of entire nation. They do not have this small interest, they have the national interest in their mind, and that's how they fight. And that's why their action is not himsa. It is still counted in a himsa, because that himsa is protecting large population from getting into suffering. If the soldiers will not do their duty properly at the borders, just imagine what will happen about everyone. Can anything go in that nation? Okay, because their himsa is actually keeping a lot of people to follow ahimsa, and that's why it is not a proper himsa. So he talked that the himsa itself is tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. The tamasic and rajasic himsa is actually the violence which is to be condemned, and that is condemned by the Vedas, that the himsa shall not be without awareness. If with awareness it is required to do himsa, it is sattvic it is the kind of sattvic himsa, and it is always for the benefit of others. Okay, the himsa for the protection, himsa which is for the which is for rakshan of everyone, for the protection of everyone, and protection of self. That is the sattvic himsa, and that is not counted into the sin or any kind of papa. Okay. And that's what is given very clearly by Acharya, that whenever the himsa is there for protection of large masses, for the protection of entire humanity, for the protection of self, this himsa is never counted into a sin. And when it is required to be done, doing that himsa is dharma, and running away from that himsa is adharma. So this was the dvandva which Arjun had, and Acharya himself has answered about this dvandva. So this was about the first chapter and three things, that what is the seed of samsara, that the moha which we have, attachments which we have with the nine things which we have discussed, that gives rise to the shoka somewhere or other. And that shoka, that disturbance which we have, is a wake up call that this is the time for you to go into silence. This is the time. And Arjun also had this call only, that I want to just seclude myself. I don't want to fight. I just want to renounce everything. But the timing of Arjun was not wrong. That's what, as Acharya highlighted, that that depends on the situation at which you are there. So the situation at which Arjun was there right now, for him, the pathway to enlightenment was what Krishna have described for him, and that's what is explained by Acharya Shankar in the further chapters, and that we'll definitely cover in upcoming lectures. Okay, so if you have any questions, you are welcome, most welcome. I'll yes. Now you can unmute yourself and you all can ask.
Can
Yes,
I ask a question?
definitely. Yeah,
I joined late, but I was just
it's okay.
curious. How what brought you to this knowledge? Like, how did you come about it?
Actually, I'm a very big fan of Acharya Shankar's work on Advaita Vedanta. I'm learning from 7, 8 years itself. So I've read most of his works, and his works are revolutionary and they are direct experience altogether. It is not just a simple reading which you do. So that's why the experience and findings which I got, I wanted to share with everyone. And so I decided that let's connect and discuss this rare text which hardly anyone knows, that this commentary I have written by Acharya Shankar. And he has answered a lot of questions which we all have.
Thank you.
Uh, I'm Savita, so my video is not on, but I would say that the way you explained was very clear. It had a lot of clarity, and it had a lot of there was no ambiguity. So I really, for the first time, I was hearing this, and everything is so clearly, whatever till now I feel I have understood clearly. Love to follow. The only thing I wanted to ask, like. The nishtha, when we talk about nishtha, is it like one somebody has moha, and any moha will lead to misery, of course, shoka, because when you desires are not fulfilled or when the situation changes.
Hmm.
So nishtha is like kind of wanting to just go into silence, into forest, into contemplation to find the truth, or the nishtha is kind of dispassion. What is the more? Can you
Yes.
elaborate a little bit more on it?
Nishtha is like, if you have, if anyone has experienced any kind of setback, we all experience setback some or the other time of life. Okay. So the setback which one gets is actually a deeper connection with the self. It is a wake up call for him. The nature has actually created the setback for one to realize that he is not just these small things. Okay, because when we are totally stuck into the world, we just forget about everything. The moha which is there, which just takes a which magnifies to a larger level, then suddenly it is broken by the nature. And the more moha you have, the more shoka will be. The more
Yes.
attachment you have to that intensity, only the shoka will be. So whenever
Yeah.
a major setback is there, that actually makes everyone like that makes that person to just uh, like Arjun, what he experienced, he just dropped his bow that I don't want to do this. A frustration arises. Okay. So actually, the nishtha arises because of the frustration with the current thing that, and this is a defense mechanism which everyone, which the nature has, that whenever the frustration arises, you just say, enough, that's it. Now I just don't want to be here. I just want to go away. Okay, this enough feeling which come, enough is enough. This is nishtha. Okay.
Mm.
Whenever
Yeah.
to any situation you have that enough, lot has happened. This is nishtha. Okay, and when this nishtha arises, we just take some nonsense decision after that. Okay, so sometimes we take right decision, sometimes we take wrong decision. That's why Acharya Shankar highlighted that what is the correct, because this is only the way by which the person comes into spirituality. Most of us come like 90% comes, 10% comes with the other ways as well, that they come because of curiosity, because of intelligence also, that ultimately this is the only truth. But mostly the people come with the setback in their life, and when they have this setback, the feeling of enough comes, that now a lot of this has happened, I want to just go away. Then what should be done? What is the correct pathway to enlightenment? So is it just following the nishtha itself? Now, like, people can go to intoxication as well when this nishtha arises.
Mhm.
Just to get rid of the feelings, they go to intoxication, they go to other means to get above it, but they are ultimately not going above it. So that's why he said that the nishtha alone cannot make one free. Okay, you sometimes uh, decide something to do, that okay, from now I will not get indulged into it. Okay, so for example, when person has setback from relationship, he decide, now I won't think of my ex again. But can he just get rid of it by this feeling that now, from now I won't get rid of it? That has highlighted, but that is highlighted by him. That
And then we need a guru and we need the
yes,
niyama to, the right
then
niyama.
you need a
Thank you
guru
so
and
much.
niyama, which you need to follow.
The guru will tell the right niyama actually.
Yes. The guru only can give
Thank
the
you.
niyama. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll connect again tomorrow. Thank you.
Someone
Thank you
has
so
asked
much,
that
Nischay ji,
which
for
publication I have read. So this is from the Gita Press Gorakhpur's publication. Okay. If you want, I'll share it in the group also. If you want to know, I think I've written there in the presentation. Yes, this is the resource. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, sorry, Shankar Bhashya, Code 10, Gita Press, Gorakhpur. So if you want to, but this is in Hindi. Uh, I think the English translation is available. Okay, you can get an English version as well, but this is in Hindi. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Shankar Bhashya, Code 10, Gita Press, Gorakhpur. And next meeting, someone has asked, every time, like it will be on Friday, 9:30 p.m. IST. Okay, if you are not able to attend it, so he'll record it and upload it, and the link will be there in the group itself. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nischay ji. I could not hear the whole thing because I was working, but really I appreciate the way you explain is very beautiful. I mean, I heard this nishtha, and really I appreciate it. I love the way you explain everything. So thank you so much. Looking forward
Yes,
to
thank
hear
you.
this recording.
Thank you, Nishchay ji. It was really, Shweta had actually shared the link, so I'm grateful for her as well. It was a beautiful explanation. I've attended even the the yoga TTC. I think now more clarity on the Shat Darshanas also from your explanation. So it is wonderful. Yeah,
Thank you.
very nice. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you everyone, and we'll meet again next